Martin from the Philippines. We're here in Real Talk Lifeline. So in this live, boom, let's get to it. People watching the live or the replay. This one is the best lessons on the recent National Achievers Congress Philippines 2024 Vishen Lakhiani in Manila. So it is this event that I recently attended. There you go. Vishen Lakhiani, Ken Honda, several other speakers, which I'll be sharing the best lessons on. So tonight, I was actually just learning and reading this Empower magazine from Loris Enterprises. Loris Enterprises is the local events company who's bringing all these global speakers, thought leaders, personal development that we can learn from. And they partner with Success Resources based in Singapore who organize these big events. So, what I'm sharing tonight is going to be the best lessons from this recent event. So, people watching the live or the replay, feel free to comment down below. I want this to be more free flowing, like a little lighter, and I want to do it justice. I'll be sharing my experience here, and I just want to show you also what Loris Enterprises has brought to the country, to Manila, recently. So I'm going to share my screen over here. Let's do a little storytelling as I go through this. Boom, I'm going to be juggling some StreamYard magic over here. So I want to show you guys how it looks like. So from the registration, again, I'll be checking the dashboard, the comments, going to the event itself. As you could see over here, around 600 to 700 participants in that room. So here in Manila. And then you could see me. There are parts where it's serious. We're like taking notes, we're listening, we're learning. There are parts also that we stand up, we're getting active, putting our hands in the air. You could see some people smiling. There are even parts where you do partner shares. So it's interactive, and even group shares, like groups of 3 or 4, aside from the sharing with the entire room, right? So let's dive into it. Guys, I'll be checking your comments also in the live. So the very first speaker lesson I'll be sharing here in this National Achievers Congress last August 23 to 24, 2024. The recent one here, let me just take this out here so you can see the screen better. There you go. Richard Tan. So who is Richard Tan? Richard Tan is the founder of Success Resources. So based in Singapore, they started in 1994 in Singapore and Malaysia, and 2024, 30 years later, they are now in 35 countries. So they are the reason, he is the reason why, we have all these global speakers like Robert Kiyosaki, Vishen Lakhiani, the most recent one, Gary Vaynerchuk, many others. So the best lessons I got from Richard Tan, just diving into it. Comment down below, guys, watching the live or the replay. I'll be checking your comments as well. Best lessons I got from Richard Tan, Mr. Richard Tan, is here. Number one is clarity of intention. If there's one lesson you'd get from this guy, because as a businessman, as someone who started this company and grew it, number one is clarity of intention. That's like the number one takeaway I got from him. Be very, very clear of what you want to do. So, admittedly, this is a challenge. A lot of us are distracted. But once you have that clarity of intention, and he wanted to start this company, he had a vision. This guy even ran like a marathon or Ironman. So when he wanted to learn a musical instrument, when he had that clarity of intention, boom, he just goes all in on it. Number two, this is just a side note because modern times, he said embrace AI. So in this age, 2024, it's the biggest thing now. And I'm kind of jumping ahead, but another speaker even mentioned about AI that it dates almost 30 years back, the technology. So it's not like this super new thing after all. But embrace AI. That's what Mr. Richard Tan said. The last lessons I got from him is don't be pushed by your problems, be led by your dreams. Don't be pushed by your problems, be led by your dreams. And then that goes back to clarity of intention, right? Our dream. And then he said, I fight for my dream and my dream fights for me. So again, you feel the emotion over there, right? I fight for my dream. And when I do that, my dream fights for me. So the last thing I learned from Mr. Richard Tan is how do you know, right? If you know something, people who say, I know, well, how do you really know, right? Well, I do it. I do. Now, how do you know if I do it? Unless you achieved your goal, you still do not know. So I know it, really. I do it, really. I achieved it. Then now you really know. So that's Mr. Richard Tan, founder of Success Resources. Let's move forward. Let's move to the next speaker. I'm just following the chronology of the workbook over here. And the next speaker is why I attended the this event in the first place. So anyone who can guess or maybe already know, that's Vishen Lakhiani, the founder of Mind Valley. And I just want you to also feel what the event was like when I was there, right? Just giving honor also to Loris Enterprises, because when you capture the visuals and like you just see it as it is, I want you to see it as it is, right? Not to like overhype it or anything, but just to get the energy and to feel the spirit of the event. So the best lessons I got from Vishen Lakhiani, his time was super limited in this two-day event. He appeared on one day, the second day, and then his talk was about an hour, and then he had an hour of Q&A. So Vishen Lakhiani, let's get to it. The best lessons I got from him. My key takeaway was I'm just sharing my personal, like nothing beats attending the actual event, right? So I wanted to see if he was the real deal. So the TLDR, right? Too long didn't read version was for the answer I got was he is. Why? So there was one story he shared that really hit me, and it was that Oreo wrapper story. So the people who were in the event know this. Long story short, Vision was in San Francisco, I believe in the US. There was a girl who dropped an Oreo wrapper on the street. And then Vision picked the wrapper up. He walked in front of this girl. And then he threw the wrapper in a trash can. And then he gave her this look, like a mean or a bad look. And then the girl said this to him. Why do you have to be such an asshole? And then what Vision found out was she just broke up and she was having a really bad day. So this was actually of a lesson from Vision in the event on compassion. So what I love about Vision sharing was he reveals the truth. He doesn't just show his good side. He also shows his imperfections and his mistakes. And my respect for him just, went up so much. So there are so many lessons here, even just the ones I marked. I'm going to try to compress and share all of this. Comment down below, people watching the live, if you have questions, so at least I can focus, right, and give you what you want. So I'm just going to share the ones that I put a star, a fire mark, a heart, just to compress the time, right? So the main thing that Vishen shared in his talk in NAC, Vishen Lakhiani in Manila, last August 2024 was the 6-phase meditation. So some of you may know this already if you've read his book, if you studied Mind Valley, you're familiar with Vishen Lakhiani. So what is this? This is a practice, a meditation practice. And then my takeaway from it was I thought meditation was yoga, shavasana, like lying down, right? Or sometimes it's suffering, right? Like you're going through something. The way Vishen shared meditation is it's actually like washing our mind, like cleaning it and taking care of our soul. So the six phase meditation is actually not suffering, it's not yoga, but it's visualization. And the six phase meditation, six parts of it are compassion, gratitude, peace, vision, control, and then support. So I'm just quickly going through this. If you want, if this is like, wow, this is important, I need this, you can always dig deeper, right? Dive deeper and look it up. Six phase meditation. So, as in phases, right? So, this one was super, super, super key and helpful. He did it in a way where we did 2 minute meditations, guided meditations. You can actually do this practice in the morning after waking up in like 18 minutes. That's what he said when you get the hang of it. So the first phase is compassion. And then the human, why is compassion? Like, what's the point of this? The human tendency is we assume, we judge, and it's a character flaw. But the reason why we do this is because it's part of survival. We have to make snap judgments. And then it's part of survival. Sometimes it can mean life or death. You know, if the we're crossing the street and the car is about to hit us, something like that. And then we tend to apply it when we also interact with people. So what's the solution to this? It's to seek understanding. It's to activate the heart, our compassion, and we can do this through meditation. So he calls that a fundamental attribution error, right? Or assholism, in like in that Oreo wrapper story. So the first phase is compassion. I won't go through this just for time, right? But he does a guided meditation on it. Phase two, after compassion, is gratitude. Phase two, gratitude. So what I love about this in my notes is he said that's the fastest hack to happiness. And what was new to me was three types of gratitude are your personal life, meaning it could be your family, your friends, like that, right? Your work life, and then yourself. Like, so it reinforced because I've been practicing counting my blessings every day for the past years already. I lost track. So you could see that in my personal Facebook profile, people who want to see proof of that. And it's actually part of this six phase meditation, right? It's a practice you could actually do. So gratitude would lead to happiness. Phase three is forgiveness. So what gives you peace? Forgiveness will give you peace. If gratitude gives you happiness, forgiveness would give you peace. And this is the secret to a monk's brain. Monks, like in a monastery, right? Or the, you know, those bald people who meditate like that. So the secret why they are like that is because of forgiveness. And they forgive people, they forgive themselves, they forgive the world to that level. That's why they're so at peace. So there's so much good stuff in this, but I'm just flying through it. Phase four is future dreaming. And this is visualizing, it's thinking about what you want. I'm remembering what Mr. Richard Tan said, right? Clarity of intention. So, future dreaming is think of one thing that you want and keep choosing the same thing. So, the key here in Vision's words is stop changing your damn mind because that focus and that repetition will make it happen more and be unrealistic. So, if we aim too low, like too conservative, then it won't really work as well. You might attain it too easily. It might not feel fulfilling, right? But Focus on not just the end goal, that unrealistic dream. I mean this in a good way. But focus not just on the end goal, but the feeling. How would you feel when you achieve it? Also be very specific, right? If I want more money, what is it? Is it 10 million pesos? What's the currency in your country, right? Is it 50 million pesos? That's around 1 million US dollars. So, and what's the feeling I'll get after it? Is the feeling freedom? Is the feeling, you know, independence? Is the feeling empowerment? Is the feeling filling my cup, creating my own money fountain and then giving from the overflow, right? So, next, phase five, the perfect day. So, you also visualize what tomorrow would be like if it was a perfect day, from waking up, what you would do, doing everything in the day as if everything went all right, all the way how you end it and go to bed. And then the last phase six, is the blessing. So Vishen Lakhiani, he's from it. He was from Malaysia, but of Indian descent. So again, whatever your beliefs are, if you don't believe in God, if you believe in the universe like that, but Vishen does. So he said it's like asking God for a blessing, going from compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, future dreaming, the perfect day, and then at the very end, in 1 or 2 minutes, you can even do this in a few seconds. You say, God, like I ask for this blessing. Thank you. So that's the 6 phase meditation. So another lesson here that Vishen shared is law of attraction. So how many of you have heard of the law of attraction? You can comment down below. LOA, right? Law of attraction. One thing that Vishen shared is he learned this lesson from Reverend Michael Beckwith. He appeared in The Secret, right? So he said that there's a law actually that's even more powerful than the law of attraction, and it's the law of resonance. So what is the law of resonance? The universe does not give you what you want. The universe gives you who you are. So, what does this mean practically and simply? The law of resonance is you want love, then you give love. You want peace, then you give peace. So, give it first, and then you will resonate with it. So, I love that. I love that, and I've been testing that uh, in my life the past few years. I'm testing it right now, right? So, people watching this live or the replay, comment down below if you feel it, right? Resonance, the law of resonance. Next lesson I learned from Vishen here is this one is how to shift from negative to positive. This was in the Q&A. So you can look this up. It's called Emotional Guidance Scale, and he learned this from Esther Hicks. So the key here is there's a scale of emotions, like from the lowest of like apathy, hatred, revenge, going up. The highest would be um, joy, love, peace, right? Appreciation. So if you're all the way down in hatred, it's actually very hard to go all the way up to love. Sometimes it might be too far of a jump. So the tip is shift gradually, step by step. So if you're in hatred, sometimes the next best thing to do to shift from a negative to a positive emotion is to go up to revenge, and then go up one level, another level, until you reach the higher level, step by step. And then he also says, because you can't be positive all the time. We're human. We experience a range of emotions, and that's okay, right? Just like how he shared that story of the Oreo wrapper, right? So you can actually shift gradually, step by step, from a negative to a more positive emotion. And it's a practice. Next lesson I learned here, I'll just, skip again. I want to wrap this up for Vishen is Spend 2 hours every day dedicated to learning. He was sharing this in the Q&A. So I read this Empower magazine over here, and it took like around 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. earlier tonight, and I was getting lessons, ideas. What I like about this magazine of Loris Enterprises is he they also share here success stories of people who have attended these events, applied it in their life story from like the slums or from hardships to success, or they're still a work in progress. So 2 hours of learning, just apply that tonight, reading this Empower magazine by Loris Enterprises. So that's Vision's lesson that I applied tonight. Last one here that hit me during his talk. So I'm going to show you some different angles of Vision, what he was sharing over here, right? So the last one that he shared here was that hit me was this idea of good leadership. This was a question in the Q&A. So there are levels. I believe there was a book that he mentioned, but when you look it up, it's like level 1 to level 5 leadership, and you could find it in Mind Valley or that book when you search, like Google search it or look it up. So the lowest level of leadership would be like tribal, going up level 2, level 3, like competitive, right? From like cutthroat competition. Level 4 leadership is like leadership of a country, for example. Like we're the Philippines, and then there's the US, or we're the Philippines, but that's China, right? So level 5 leadership, just to keep it short, is it's unity, helping each other, even even if you're from another country, culture, religion, like that. So this is what I love. And personal application, if you think, are there people like that who exist in this world? He mentioned United Nations, right? It's like the coalition or collaboration of different countries together. Another example in my industry, financial services, like life insurance agents, it's $1 million round table or MDRD. Even if they're from a different company, even if they're from a different country, they would still help you. And I have personally experienced this. So that's level 5 leadership. So Vishen Lakhiani, even though he has competitors out there, because he's the founder of Mind Valley, he would actually still help them or collaborate with them. That's level 5 leadership. So that's the last uh, favorite or best lesson I got from Vishen Lakhiani, and that's him, right? So we're gonna move to the next speaker. I want to flow through this again, just flowing. Ending Vishen Lakhiani. Next speaker is Ken Honda. So Ken Honda, you can also check out my separate video because I recently uploaded a few days ago Ken Honda, since I was part of the executive tickets. So there's general admission, executive ticket, and then VIP, and then solitaire. So executive ticket holders had a 1 day, like 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. session with Ken Honda on August 25, Sunday, after the 2 day NAC event. So you can check out that separate video where I go more in depth. This one, I'll just share my best lessons that I got from the first 2 days. He was just sharing bit by bit. And then if you see over there, Ken Honda, his new book coming out through Wealth, it's Abundance and Ikigai in Action. So what I love is he's Japanese. If you've ever heard of the concept of Ikigai, you could comment down below, people watching the live or the replay. Ikigai. So it's like the balance of the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, right? Like your vocation, what the world will pay you for, and then all it's a combination of sorry, it's what you love, your gifts, life work, your experience, and then what can make you money, like what people will pay you for. It's the intersection of all of those. So I just had to quickly look at my notes over here. And it's a challenge to find that, right? So, what are my other best lessons from Ken Honda? He talks about happy money. That's one of his books. Ken Honda's an author. So, happy money versus unhappy money. And how many of you can relate to that? You could comment down below. Happy money, if you feel like the money you are handling, you feel good about it, you're happy with it, you have peace with it. What is unhappy money? Comment down below unhappy money if you feel like whenever there's money, I feel fear, I feel worry, I feel scarcity, like I might run out of money, right? I might lose it all. So that's unhappy money. So Ken Honda talks about how to heal your relationship with money. It's more on money EQ, right? Emotional intelligence versus money IQ, which is what we're used to uh, learning about investments, insurance, managing our money, like that. That's money IQ. So Ken Honda teaches more on money EQ. So next lesson I learned from him, uh, principles of money EQ. So very quick, some four principles of money EQ is receiving money well, enjoy money with appreciation, trust in the flow of money, and share money well. So that alone might sound and feel very different from the way we're trained on the topic of money. Again, I'm a financial consultant, financial advisor, life insurance agent, certified wealth planner. So it feels very different from how we're normally taught or trained. Next lesson that hit me with Ken Honda, I'm just going to lightly touch it, right? Not go too deep because you could check out my other video, Best Lessons, Ken Honda, the recent upload for deeper lessons on that. Ken Honda said, I became financially free when I was 29 years old. What does that mean? I can pay for myself and share the excess that I have. So that's what it means to be financially free. I can pay for myself, don't need to rely on anyone, and I can even share the excess that I have. Next lesson from Ken Honda, my job is to ask questions because I believe you have all the answers in your heart. So he has all this wealth of knowledge, but if you train with Ken Honda, and we did that on that event, that August 25, 2024 event, that Sunday, in my other upload, Best Lessons Ken Honda. So you can see that he actually asks a lot of questions, and we do these partner sharings or workshops because that's the more effective way to actually learn and discover for ourselves. So what's the next lesson here? Turn unhappy money to happy money. And he calls this happy money laundering to cleanse it. So it's funny because again, in my training, my financial services training, we do anti-money laundering training, counter-terrorist financing. We go through AMLA, all these money training modules, right? Compliance. So it's funny, but what he means by happy money laundering or money laundry is cleaning it, cleaning our unhappy money wounds, our unhappy money, and then we're going to turn it into happy money. Next best lesson, misunderstanding about money. Some of us feel like I can't live without money. But how do you turn that, right? How do you transform that? So here's an example that he actually gave. Let's say you run out of money. What can you do? Most of us might feel like it's the end of the world. So here he said, if that happens, I can write a book, The Joy of Bankruptcy. If I have 50 friends, I can ask if I can stay at their place for 1 week. So that means you have a place to stay for a year, right? Or if I only have 10 friends, then I can ask if, hey, can I stay in your place if I run out of money for a month? So you get 10 months or about a year, right? To to survive. So sometimes that unfortunate event can actually turn into something good, as he is sharing. And it might sound funny, but he asked that question: if ever you ran out of money, do you have a friend or do you know anyone who you could stay in their place for a while? So he calls these invisible assets. I'm jumping ahead, but that's another lesson. He said invisible assets. It's not just visible assets such as cash, such as investment, such as real estate, right? So invisible assets are relationships like that ability to survive or live because of these other invisible resources, right? So next lesson, the true nature and essence of money. What does it mean? It can set you free or imprison you. It's an expression of love and goodwill. It's a device that enlarges emotions because it actually just shows who you really are even more. Money does that. It's a measurement of value we agree on and energy that can be exchanged for things. So, next lesson, the more you talk about money in a happy manner, the more money will come in. So I hope you're feeling that here in this live and you could test it yourself. So we're talking about money in a happy manner so that more money will come in. Why? Because we're not afraid of it and we also know how to receive or welcome it in. So the last lesson here from Ken Honda that I noted is ikigai and life work. So this one, I marked this because that topic really hits me to the core, ikigai. It's like one of the secrets to life, the balance, right? Connecting it all. Ikigai and life work. So lesson here is first, know your true self. What does that mean? 5 guide questions. Know your true self. Number 1, what do you love? Right? That alone you might feel already, might stir something in your heart. Number 2, what are your gifts? Right? Can you do a live for 32 minutes, even in this Philippine heat and you're sweating, but you'd still do it anyway? Right? If most people say no, but you're crazy enough to do it, maybe that's your gift. Maybe you like writing books, which is one of the gifts of Ken Honda. For him, it doesn't take much effort to write books. He can just keep writing all day, and it feels easy for him. What is your gift? What is your version? Number 3, where is your passion strongest? And what are you most curious about? I love that hint, right? In number 3, it's not just about passion, it's what are you most curious about? So, Martin, what's your example? Growing up, when I was as young as 13 years old, I got curious about guns. And here in the Philippines, it's not necessarily easy to own a gun legally. Unlike in certain countries like the US or certain states that are very gun liberal or gun friendly. Now, I get it. There are other countries where it's harder or near impossible to own a gun, but that curiosity drove me to eventually own a gun legally. And it even, led me to train with firearms, learn, and to the point of teaching gun basics Philippines, if you look that up. So, what are you most curious about? Number 4, why do you make important decisions? Why do you make important decisions? Is it family, right? Are you a provider? Is it because you have an aspiration, right? Is it because you're hungry for the truth, right? What are the most important decisions to you and why do you make them? Number 5, the last one. What are your dreams and goals? What are your dreams and goals? So these are hints to first know your true self so you can reach your ikigai and life work. So I love it. That's Ken Honda. So let's move forward. The next speaker over here, this guy is Paul O'Mahony. He's Irish. And I'll share with you his best lessons. Paul O'Mahony talked about online business, how to turn your biggest time waster into your biggest money through social media. So that's his specialty, that's his expertise. So rethink social media. He has his own company, Rethink. So the key lessons I got from Paul O'Mahony were or let's start with one is stop wasting time, start making money. How many people here, how many of you spend 2 hours every day on your cell phone, your smartphone? I don't just mean texting, right? Nowadays, it's because you're on the Wi Fi, you're on data, you're checking your Facebook, your Instagram. Uh, what other apps do you check in there? You're on YouTube, right? At home, or you get what I mean, right? So imagine all that time wasted, and instead, all those hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours every day, you were making money instead using that device or using that platform. So the next lesson I got from Paulo Mahoney is how can you create more money in your life? So here's the thing: how you use your phone determines how you will end up financially. So that hit me. How you use your phone determines how you will end up financially. Are you using your phone mainly for business, for work? Are you using your phone for a different reason, right? Wasting time. Are you using your phone to create a system, passive income, right? Are you using it to build your platform, your brand, right? Or for your passion, something like now. So, how you use it will determine how you end up financially. Next lesson I learned from Paul O'Mahony. This is really good. Money is an emotional thing. So how many of you agree that with that? Comment down below, people watching the live or the replay. Money is an emotional thing. So you can comment down, money is an emotional thing. If you believe it, right? So why? People will always spend their money. It's just a part of life, right? Like, what is the last thing you did, right? Bought groceries, bought something, bought cigarettes, bought something on Shopee or Lazada, right? So aside from human needs, it can be something else, right? Something you just bought. Now, people will always spend their money. Paulo Mahoney said, I want to show you how they can spend it with you. Because they're already spending their money. But I want to show you how they can spend it with you. So instead of spending their money here, 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 maybe they can spend it with you instead, right? And you can get some of that money because money is an emotional thing. Next lesson, Paulo Mahoney. This one, because I have heard him talk in my past Quantum Leap, I believe, one of the seminars there, Never Work Again. So he shared this lesson, which is kind of a reminder to me. What solution can I provide? So I love that mindset shift. What solution can I provide? You can always sell something that people want to buy. How? Three parts of a puzzle. One part is a person needs help. You could call that a problem. You could call that a need, right? And then the other side over here is a business that offers a solution. A business that offers a solution, right? It can literally mean a life insurance company, right? I'm the agent, so that's where you come in, right? You connect them. It can mean uh, You go direct to the wholesaler, right? They have bottled water, foods, goods. You put up your own convenience store or sari-sari store, like a 7-Eleven or sari-sari store. So that's where you come in. People need help. There's a business that can provide the solution, and then you come in. So you can always sell something that people want to buy. Next lesson I got from Paulo Mahoney that was helpful was, okay, you get that formula, but there's this term also, high profit products. So I'll relate it in my industry, life insurance, financial services. There are high net worth or elite products that you can sell. In your industry, they might call those high ticket items, right? Uh, for banks, they or private banking, they have this level threshold they call high net worth clients or ultra high net worth clients, wherein the net worth of a client must be 1 million US dollars, that's around 50 million pesos, and above. So they have products or high profit products for that level. So that got me thinking. Simple example too is like if you sell low profit products, lower than a life insurance product or policy, right? There are cheap products, but if you sell another product like real estate, for example, and they can be in the millions already, even a 3 or 5% commission of that is already higher profit, right? So high profit products. Next lesson, go where the opportunity is. So I like this. And in the context of Paul O'Mahony, he's talking about social media. Facebook ads are already saturated, they're already expensive. There's also Instagram. But what he said was go to X. So X, because Elon Musk bought it, formerly known as Twitter, so maybe more familiar to people, Twitter. Twitter ads or X now are very cheap, and you can actually target them so super cheap, and you can get the highest bang for buck or value out of it. So go to where the opportunity is. Apply it in your situation, your own business or your own industry. Maybe there are untapped markets in an area that's still cheap and it can give you high ROI or high value, right? It's leverage. Last lesson I got from Paul O'Mahony, expand your reasons why. Expand your reasons why. Three big goals. So, what are these goals? Just to keep it simple, have an earnings goal, have an investments goal, and then have a knowledge goal. So, what is that? Earning is how much money, cash flow you're getting in, whether it's through business, through a job, right? Like that. Number two is investments goal. Because after you earn that money, where are you going to put that, right? So, are you going to invest in your own real estate portfolio? Are you going to put it in a fund, right? An equity fund, right? Are you going to invest in a venture capitalist, et cetera, et cetera? Are you going to invest in a cash flow fund? Are you going to invest in, you get what I mean? Last one is knowledge. So, what is your goal for that, right? Do you want to do quantum leap, right? Do you want to do a Tony Robbins high level seminar, right? So, it's knowledge or your education, right? That line, Warren Buffett said, the best investment is investing in yourself. So, investing in your own knowledge, your own personal development. So, have a goal to expand your reasons why. Next, next speaker. So, this guy, his name is Michael Tan or Dato Michael Tan. He's from Malaysia. So, Dato Michael Tan, the best lessons I got from him, you could already see it on screen. One of them is that one, right? Many people aren't even aware. They hear the term financial freedom. So comment down below if you understand that term or you've heard of it, financial freedom. People watching the live or the replay, comment down below, financial freedom. But how many of you also understand your own number? So what does that mean? It's your financial freedom number, that if you had that number, you would be financially free, independent. You wouldn't have to rely on any other income anymore for work. Everything else is a bonus. And it's set up in a certain way that you're still getting cash flow, and it will be sustainable for the rest of your life. So, how many of you have a number? Comment down below already. If you have an actual number in whatever currency your country is, I'm curious. So, that's one of the biggest takeaways I got from Dato Michael Tan. So Dato Michael Tan, his specialty is property, real estate, and specifically buying with no money down. So buying real estate with no money down to make a lot of money. And he's been doing this for the past 17 years. So quick backstory on him. In 2008, so that was the I believe the subprime, right? The global financial crisis, also real estate related, I believe. He lost $6 million. He almost committed suicide. And then a friend gave him a ticket to this Millionaire Mind Intensive. Again, it's these seminars, Success Resources, locally, Loris Enterprises. He attended T. Harv Ecker's Quantum Leap program. So I share best lessons on that too, if you check out the channel. He attended Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within, and then Success Resources saved his life. And in that very dark and low moment in his life, right? So, number one lesson that he shared here, his secret number one is, as you see on the screen, have a goal, and that goal is financial freedom, right? Setting that number. Now, for the sake of time, I'm just going through this quickly, but there's a way to actually compute that. And you can actually find a number that will keep generating enough income for the rest of your life to pay for your necessities, your expenses, and still have enough excess, right? Overflow. So, number two, secret number two is strategy. And what I love about this lesson, because he's also talking about real estate, is choose your exit before entry. Now, I love this lesson because people rarely talk about it. This is real estate context. I believe it applies also even for a business also as well. So, what does that mean? Choose your exit before entry. So, there are two methods in real estate that you can do: buy low and then flip it, sell it for a higher price. First method. Second method is to buy low, you keep it, and then you keep renting it out, right? So that's the keep formula. If there's a flip formula, there's a rent formula. So you're generating passive income, right? You're getting rental income, and you make sure that rent can pay for, the dues, the real property taxes, and you still have enough excess coming in, right? So flip formula or keep formula. So you choose your exit even before your entry, because that's how you get enough profit, right, from it in the first place. Like that line, right? You make a profit when you buy, not when you sell. So that's on the real estate context. Next lesson, secret number three, is to plan. Quit doing success on your own. So when you plan, you also involve a team or other people. What does that mean, right? If you try to do it on your own, that's a hard road. So when you do success and you involve other people, you're helping me and I'm helping you. So I love his angle or the way he sees it. When I help or when I collaborate with other people, I'm helping them, but they're also helping me, right? So I love that lesson also when it comes to the third secret of planning. Okay, I could stop there already because he gets technical on real estate. Again, his What he teaches is Dato Michael Tan teaches buying with no money down real estate to make a lot of money. So he talks about more technical numbers, market value, maximizing rental returns, etc. like that. So the next speaker, Sandy Jadeja. So Sandy, I believe he came from South Africa, but he grew up in London, like in the UK. And this guy, among the speakers, I mean, aside from Vishen Lakhiani and Ken Honda, like these panel speakers, he was my favorite because of his mind. Like he's so brilliant, intelligent, and he thinks in a different way. So key lessons, best lessons I got from Sandy Jadeja. His thing is he teaches about financial markets, more on trading. So that's his background. So the best lessons I'll share with you though are this one on money and his mind, like the way his mind works or thinks. So this one is first one is don't chase money, let it chase you. Meaning don't chase money, let it come to you. So that's how you can set up your life, right? Set up my life this way. Instead of chasing money, it comes to me. Now, how many of you would like that? And even better, how many of you believe you could actually set it up that way for yourself? So you could comment down below. Yeah, yes. So Sandy has done that, whether it's through a system, understanding, money, and you'll learn other things, passive income, just put all the lessons together. And that's what it means. You can actually let money come to you instead of chasing it. Next, how to create your own economy. So it's also related. Why is this important? So he says this line, which he saw in like one of the countries he visited. A government big enough to give everything to the people is a government big enough to take away everything from the people. So what's the whole point of this? How to create your own economy. If we rely 100% on the government or someone else, that government, that person, that entity can take away everything from us as well. So that's the importance of setting up your own economy, your own ecosystem, your own financial independence or freedom. So the money can't be taken away from you. So uh, next lesson here, we must learn how to detach from our emotions. And this is essential when it comes to money. Remember the other lesson earlier. I believe it was Ken Honda or one of the other speakers who said money is emotional. I think was that Paul O'Mahony actually who said that. I'm just double checking my notes. Yes, Paul O'Mahony is the one who said money is an emotional thing. So Sandy Jadeja over here, he said we must learn how to detach from our emotions, and this is essential. Practical application for those who are into trading. Again, stocks, foreign forex, foreign exchange, crypto, like that. You know this. We know this. When we start getting highly emotional, whether that could be greed, that could be fear, right? We can get screwed so easily when it comes to money. So he said we also have to learn how to detach from our emotions when it comes to money. That is essential. Next lesson, best lesson I got from Sandy Jadeja. Change your environment to increase your value. Change your environment and you can increase your value. Now, some of you might say, Martin, are you crazy? Right? Are you cuckoo? Right? What the hell do you mean by that? He gave an actual example, a real life example. A bottle of water. Let's say you buy that in the warehouse, right? Direct. direct from like the wholesaler. How much is a bottle of water? Here in the Philippines, I'll just use Philippine pesos, right? So it's easier. Let's say it's 10 pesos. When you buy that bottle of water in a supermarket, how much is it? 20, 25 pesos, like that, bottle of water. Again, like 500 ml, something like that. All right. So, and then when you buy that from a vending machine, how much is it? Right? Supermarket, maybe cheaper, right? 20 pesos. Vending machine, maybe it's already 30 pesos, 35. Not so bad, right? But it's more expensive. And then you buy that same bottle of water in a restaurant. How much is it? 50 pesos, 60 pesos already, right? So it's almost twice the price already. Now I'm gonna end it with one more, right? Because you could say, give other examples, like you buy it on an airplane, like the flight, like that. You can guess how much that is. If you buy bottle of water, same brand, right? Absolute, whatever Wilkins, whatever. You buy that same bottle of water in a five-star hotel. How much is that gonna cost? Comment down below. Now, some of you might say, from experience, yeah, it cost me like 100, 150, 200 pesos, like that. And that's real life. Same bottle of water. Why did it get more expensive? Right? So let's go back to the lesson. Change your environment, and it increases your value. So I love that lesson. Wow, we're flowing. Next lesson. So this guy over here is Troy Harris, the Aussie from Australia. Troy Harris, his background is more on AI, blockchain. So this starts involving cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, like that. And yeah, his goal is to be financially free. So that's how all the lessons kind of tie in, right? And connect with each other. Whatever your discipline, your background is, right? To be financially free. So my favorite lesson from Troy Harris is this, like what you see on screen. It's what is money? Many of us, and this was the eye opener, right? Like the thought provoker for me. Many of us don't even know what money is. Like what is it really? People think it's paper. Now it's becoming digital because of Gcash. Even before Gcash, if you put your money in a bank like BPI locally here, BPI, BDO, Union Bank, all these banks, right? It's digital now. So a lot of you pay your bills digitally. You don't need to withdraw cash anymore, literally. You could do a bank transfer, bills payment, QR code nowadays, all this and that, right? So what is money? So the best lesson I got from him is to understand what money is. So he says money is a system of control. He also shared, I love the storytelling, like the history behind it. So the exchanging of value has been in place for around 4,000 years. I'm just sharing the notes that I took down from his presentation. So, how many of you have heard the term barter system? Barter. So, even before coins, money, or anything was involved, like this was 9,000 BC or way back, uh, it was exchange of goods, right? So, if I have chickens and then you have a cow, then I would exchange a good number of chickens for one cow, something like that. So this is the barter system back in the day. And it can also involve like spears or swords, and then we'll exchange this for your musket, your rifle, or something like when the Portuguese came in, like that. So we'll trade our swords for your rifle, whatever, like that. So I believe that's what happened in Japan, right? So anyway, like barter system is exchanging of goods, right? And then later on, we created a system of coinage. So from his presentation, coinage was a technological revolution. Why? It was the first time we all agreed on a uniform store of value, gold coins, right? And this lasted for thousands of years. So whenever you watch movies, you look up history, the pirates, you know, all of this, there were chests of gold coins, right? And all that, right? So why is that a technological revolution? Gold or coins? You now have the ability to scale. And ultimately, this led to currency, right? Or the idea of that. So what happened was they had gold and people valued this aside from other precious metals like silver, etc., like that, right? So there's this term called the gold standard, and until I believe around 1870 to like 1930. So one of the US presidents that time, I believe it was Richard Nixon. What happened here, why this is relevant, was every US dollar was backed by gold, right? So like in the banks, Fort Knox, all that, every dollar had an equivalence. What does this dollar mean, right? Like, what is it worth? It's worth an amount in gold. If you wanted to exchange it or back it up, right? The value behind that money. Because money, in essence, is just paper. So, what's the value behind it, right? So, in that time, the gold standard, when President Nixon took it off, they started printing more money than there was available gold in the reserves. So you can look this up, right? The gold reserves, the bank, all like that stuff. So now we have paper money, and you might have heard this term. It's called fiat. So after 1971, so when they started printing more fiat currency or paper money, that was beyond the supply of gold, right? They were printing more money beyond the gold standard. So what is this? What is money really? It's a system of control. It came from that concept or that idea where we had a uniform system of value, and then now people are starting to abuse it or just keep printing it. Who has control? The government, right, of a country, etc., like that. So now we're moving to digital, and this is where cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin come in. So why is it relevant? This is what's happening now. People or governments are printing trillions. Like the US printed trillions of dollars after COVID, the stimulus checks, the funds for the unemployed, right? Philippines also started printing trillions. And this devalues the currency. It's just supply and demand. Bitcoin has a limited supply. It's like 21,000. And it's controlled, meaning it's really fixed, right? You can't just cheat the system and like start making more Bitcoin. It's really fixed at that amount. And there's a technology behind it, right? Blockchain, the Bitcoin mining to make sure those cryptocurrencies are working. So this helped me understand, right? Uh, Bitcoin, created by Satoshi Nakamoto, was a peer to peer cashless system. So it's like digital money. And it's usually criticized by people who do not understand how it works, right? Now, again, I just shared this. Most people don't know how money works. I'm a financial consultant, right? Dealing with insurance, investments. I don't fully understand it. And Troy Harris over here enlightened me, right? Like, what is the real basis of money? So, traditional money or paper money is trusted because the government says it has a value. Whenever you look at a paper money or a note, it's like an IOU of the government. So the government owes you or owes that amount, that 20 peso, 50 peso, 100 peso, 500 peso, 1,000 peso, right? It's honored by the Philippine government. Now, here's the thing. It money, that's why we trust it, right? From paper, gold, if it's universally or globally understood that has value, that's money, right? It's like uniform value being exchanged. Now we're moving to digital cryptocurrency. And what are the differences? An example he gave is this: Bitcoin or digital, right? Cryptocurrency versus traditional. Why is there a benefit? Digital, it's faster. The transaction could be instant. Low fees, right? So versus, let's say, Western Union, if you want to transfer $100 from the US to the Philippines, from one country to another, there can be an 8% fee. People who are familiar with this, OFWs, overseas Filipino workers, right? Sending money remittance, there's a charge, 8%, like that. So for $100, they charge you $8. And it takes several days to clear. Versus you do a digital transfer. It can take seconds, sometimes it's instant, and there are lower fees, no fees or low fees. So that's the way of the future already. So these were ideas that kind of opened my eyes when it came to understanding money. So why is it good to understand this, right? Technology, where we're moving. How many people here are not using an iPhone or a Samsung, a smartphone, right? How many of us here are not using the internet? So this is the direction where technology is moving. And he calls this the greatest wealth transfer in history, moving into cryptocurrency, right? Not just digital, because digital currency, whether it be through the banks, right, Gcash, it's still, again, right, it's still that money being controlled by the government, by the central bank, which is printing more money. So it can devalue your money, right? So last lesson I got here: leverage is the reason why some people get rich and others do not. So I'm not necessarily saying that you or I have to get into cryptocurrency, but understand what leverage is, whichever method you use, right? Whether it be real estate, cryptocurrency, social media, a different investment, right? But if we don't use leverage, then some other people who do, they're the ones who get rich. And then others just stay the same, right? So we're moving to the last speaker, I believe. So this is Robert Riopel. So Robert Raymond Riopel, he's a trainer. So it was him and Miss Joanna Lazaro who was leading this, but he gave very valuable lessons here. So just to wrap this up, my favorite lessons from Robert Riopel are this. So number one is, I take responsibility for my own success. So the backstory of Robert Riopel was he started with a pizza franchise. I believe it was Domino's Pizza in Canada. And then he ended up actually falling into $150,000 in debt. Utang. Like he owes $150,000. And then, inspired by T. Harv Eker's teachings, he attended Millionaire Mind Intensive. He attended an event kind of like this that I just attended, right? He turned his financial life around, achieving financial freedom and retiring by the age of 32. So a few months after, I think it took him several months, 9 months or something, after really applying the lessons, going all in. From that point, he was in debt, $150,000. He was able to become financially free after. So at the age of 32. So I love this. Ken Honda in Japan, he was able to achieve financial freedom by the age of 29. His father was like an accountant. So whatever your background is, Robert Riopel, like business, you can do it, right? I can do it. It's possible. Next best lesson. He said this line from T. Harv Eker. Every master was once a disaster. So if you give yourself permission first to be a disaster, look at this. What I'm doing right now, this live, if I see 0 people watching, that's okay, right? Some people might say, Martin, you're a disaster. No one's watching, no one's commenting, no one's doing anything. He said, give yourself permission first to be a disaster, right? Instead of feeling guilty of trying to be an expert all at once, right? This is me applying the lesson. Next one, 80% of success is showing up. So people who attended this event, just showing up, that's 80% of success. Sure, there's being present, participating, taking notes, doing all this. But even just showing up, people in this live, if you're watching this, listening, that's already 80% of success. Now max it out, right? Take some notes, test the lessons, see if they're true, apply them, live it. Then you reach 100%. Next lesson, be positive. So what does this mean? Okay, man, this live's over an hour, etc. like that. Instead of thinking that way, I'm gonna think I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn. Why? To not be overwhelmed. To not be overwhelmed by like the ego thoughts, all this negativity. Look for one or two golden nuggets that you can use, right? And then use it in your life per speaker. I'm gonna like timestamp this per speaker. There are 8 speakers here, so you can skip to all the way from Richard Tan to Robert Riopel, right? Just click like the timestamp, so it'll be easier. Next lesson, givers gain. The giver who gives most gets more out of life. Maybe you're understanding why I do this. So my intention is, why don't you try it too? Why don't you test it? When you give most, when you go all out, right? Bigay lahat. It's Tagalog for like giving it all, right? Just give everything you got. Then you actually get more out of life. And I've been testing that. So if you find that to be true, comment down below. People watching the live or the replay, comment down below. Givers gain. Givers gain. If you find that, you feel that's true in your heart and in your experience. Next best lesson. If you work way too hard for way too little, you have to change your blueprint. So this one is a good tip because some of us, we give so much, we work so hard, but we're not compensated, right? It doesn't come back enough. So we can change our blueprint because we may have money blocks, we may have disempowering beliefs, could be our self-worth, right? Our self-esteem. So we can change that. So what is your blueprint? Your blueprint, next best lesson is, your blueprint is your financial thermostat. What does that mean? Like in the air conditioner, like a thermostat. Let's say your blueprint was set for 15,000 a month, right? Income. That's like minimum wage here in the Philippines. And I'm outdated, right? But let's say that's your financial thermostat. Maybe you could raise the thermostat to 30,000, to 50,000, to 100,000 one day. You're making 1 million every year, right? So it comes from our conditioning. And here's the good news. We can change it for wealth. So that's the way to fix the part where we're working so hard, yet we're doing it for way too little, right? Next best lesson: bless that which you want. Bless that which you want. Why? If you resent something, you hate it, right? You have anger, you can never have it. It's a law of the universe. Why? Because even when you get it, you're going to end up resenting yourself, right? And you can't trick your mind. You can't trick your subconscious, right? I can't in my experience. I'm gonna feel like a fake. I was dissing this person, then I actually get it. I'm gonna end up dissing myself, right? So instead, bless that which you want. If I want money, I want wealth. Whenever I see a wealthy person, I say, wow, that's so cool. Thank you. One day I want to be like that, right? So, next best lesson: I am no different than you. I just started out just like you in that seat as a student. So, the backstory of Robert Riopel was he attended just like this National Achievers Congress. He started out with just one event. All those people sitting down, right? Listening, watching him. He was there. He was listening to the lead trainer. He was listening to T. Harvecker, right? He was listening to someone and learning from them, just like you and me, right? So again, when he attended that Millionaire Mind Intensive, sat down in a seminar, I think it was 2 or 3 days, from $150,000 in debt, 9 months later, he achieved financial freedom. And the secret is take action, do what you learn. Do what you learn. Now, you might ask, Martin, what do you mean by take action, do what you learn? Well, maybe you get why I'm doing this live. Part of taking action, for me at least, is sharing it. This is part of the integration. Now, next step is to find one or two gold nuggets. Hashtag gold, right? One of the best lessons, two of the best lessons, and then test it in real life, right? Sometimes testing it is sharing it, right? Sometimes it's starting a business. Sometimes it's interacting with a client, right? So do that. Do what you learn, right? When I did my Millionaire Mind Intensive, one of the applications I did was to set up my money jar system with bank accounts. So do what you learn. And until this day, I still apply it. Next best lesson: how many of you want to learn the law of attraction in 4 steps? 4 easy steps. So comment law of attraction. Here we go. Law of attraction steps number 1: place your order. And this might connect with the other lessons, the other speakers earlier. Place your order means place your order with clarity. Your intention. What do you want? Be specific, right? If you say, I want more money, well, tomorrow you can get 1 peso. That's more money. But it's so small, right? So if you say, I want 10 million pesos, that is specific. That is an order. That is clarity, right? Number 1, law of attraction. Place your order. Number 2, move towards it. So once I have that clear intention, right? That burning desire, anything that helps me move towards that, I will do it. Maybe ideas on investment, maybe ideas on real estate, maybe ideas on whatever. As long as it aligns with the order that I want, I will move towards it. Number 3, must be willing to pay the price. What does that mean? Be willing to pay the price. Let's say 10 million pesos. How do you get that, right? Do you have to sell a product of what amount, right? 10 million. Will I have to sell a product that is, uh, whew, I don't know, it could be 100 million, a real estate deal, right? It could be something else. It could be 200 million. It could be I helped someone and got a commission, a cut from it, right? It could mean just praying, asking for grace or something, and you build it, 1 million, 5 million, or 10 million at a time, right? But must be willing to pay the price. Sometimes paying the price is destroying our own ego, right? Could be humility. It could be going through rejections, right? Or just having the guts to even ask. That's willing to pay the price. Number four, and this one actually is for me is like one of the hardest. Be willing to receive it. So number four is willing to receive it. Are you actually willing? Do you feel worthy enough to receive that amount? And some of us, admittedly, this might be the hardest step because we feel like we don't deserve it. So let's work on that, right? Whether it's our self-worth, maybe the dream or the vision wasn't big enough yet. Maybe there's something else, right, that we got to work on. But once you're willing to receive it, and this is connecting to Ken Honda, you could check out the best lessons on Ken Honda, our money EQ, right? Receiving is 100 times more powerful than giving, right? So be willing to receive it. Law of attraction steps: place your order, move towards it, must be willing to pay the price. And number four is willing to receive it. Next best lesson: your energy affects others. So what does this mean? Our energy will either positively, sorry, our energy will either positively affect another person or it can negatively infect another person. So just be aware of that. And what's a way, right, to shift? You could either have your great glasses on, which is you start looking for the good. You start looking for what works, versus negative glasses. What does that mean? It's when we see everything that can go wrong, everything that sucks, everything that's negative. So we can actually switch or shift glasses from our negative glasses and we put on our great glasses. Okay. So I'm almost here at the end, wrapping this up. So here, I'll just share the last two ones. This one is let your wreckage be your resume. So I love this lesson because some people might say, Robert, the speaker, Robert Riopel, Robert, my life sucks. I'm a train wreck. I'm a shipwreck. All this. I went through a lot of pain and suffering like that. So Robert Riopel says, let your wreckage be your resume. What does that mean? The fact that you have survived so much pain and suffering is already a great achievement. It's part of your resume. You got this far and you're still standing. So apply all the other lessons that I've been sharing and all that wreckage that you've been through, that I've been through, is actually a lot of power. There's a lot of lessons in that, a lot of good that we can actually share. And that becomes your resume for life, not just like a work resume. So I love that. Last best lesson of Robert Riopel is this: you are attracting to you the kind of client that you are. What does that mean? You are attracting to you the kind of client that you are. It's the law of projection. So all your clients, and this one hit me hard, is it's a direct reflection of who you are. If you have clients that are cheap, right, or scammy, and again, this is not as a judgment, not saying this as a judgment, we can reflect, am I doing that to other people, right? And it may be very hard to admit that. Now, here's the thing, maybe you don't, but do you do that to yourself? Do you shortchange yourself? Do you treat yourself badly, right? Then you're going to start attracting clients like that, clients who could abuse you and take advantage of you. So that's the law of projection. You are attracting to you the kind of client that you are. So I love that lesson. I'll end with that for Robert Riopel. So yep, this is the last slide. So I'm gonna stop my screen sharing over here. Going back to me. So what we did was 8 speakers. We just did best lessons for the 8 speakers of National Achievers Congress, Vishen Lakhiani in Manila. So we did all the way from Robert Tan, Vishen Lakhiani. We're flying through this, right? Ken Honda, Paul O'Mahony, Dato Michael Tan, Sandy Jadeja, Troy Harris, and then the last one, of course, is Robert Riopel. So these are people from different countries, Singapore, Japan, London, Malaysia, Australia, Canada, right? So I hope you got something out of it. I'm just going to check over here. No problem, Ryan, because you can actually watch the replay of this live. So when I end it, and then when I upload this on YouTube, I'm also going to timestamp the 8 speakers. So you could just skip from the first speaker, Richard Tan, all the way to the end to Robert Riopel, right? Just pick the speaker and then get the best lessons that you could test and apply in your life. So no problem, Ryan. So thank you. Again, not trying to sell anything to you in this video, just appreciating the efforts of Loris Enterprises, the local company that brought all these global speakers together. Of course, collaborating with Success Resources, Singapore, who's been doing this for 30 years already. Thank you. I love you. And I will see you next time.